All right. So, home economics. Use the data relating the average temperature in a month to the heating bill at Claire's house that month. All right. So there's her heating bills, and the mean temperature means average temperature, right? Mean means average. Okay. So it says make a scatter plot using mean temperature as the independent variable. So that's your x, right? So these are going to be our x's or list one. And these will be our y's or list two. All right. So we go to our calculator. Okay. And see if I can put these in. All right. So to put in my list, I'm going to go to stat and just hit enter. I got to go up, I guess. It's going to be, I'm going to have to do this. I'm just going to show you my keystrokes. All right. Just hit enter. And there's a list. All right. That's from yesterday's example. So to clear a list, I go up arrow, highlight L2 and hit clear, and then hit enter, and then it clear it out. Go left, go up, hit clear, and enter. And now I can start a new list. Okay? So I want to put those in, 38. You guys can do this. You should have done this already, but it looked like a lot of you were just sitting there doing nothing. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay, do I have seven in there? I think I do. 42, let's see, 38, 49, 42. I'm just checking to make sure I got the right numbers in. 42, 38. Okay, hit the right arrow key, moves me over to the second list, and I put the cost $93, 79, 75, 83, 74, 67, and 86. All right, again, I'm just going to check real quick, make sure I have the right numbers. So 86, 67, 74, 83, 75, 79, and 93. Okay, so I got all my numbers in. Okay, to do the scatter plot, just go to Zoom, because you already turned it on, but those of you that weren't here yesterday, here's where you go to get your stat plot. It says stat plot above y equals. So hit second y equals, and you have to hit enter, and you have to turn it on. All right. So Connor and Brett probably haven't turned it on yet. Okay, because they weren't here yesterday. All right, and then this should be highlighted. That type L1, L2, and then that mark is the box. If you want to put pluses or the dot, that doesn't matter to me. That's your choice. For it to show up, you have to hit Zoom 9. All right, 9 doesn't show up on here, but if you just hit the number 9 on your calculator, it'll put it in there. That's the statistics graphing mode, Zoom 9. All right, so that's what our scatter plot or stat plot looks like for this set of data. It looks like it's probably linear, right? Kind of get a line. Which way is it slanted? This way, right? So my correlation is going to be positive or negative. Negative, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Jaylee, right? Yeah. Not Kaylee, but Jaylee. All right. So there's the picture. And again, you guys could do that without a calculator. Plot those points on some graph paper, right? So that's really not hard. And again, I'm not so worried about this, but that's a way for you to look at it to see how close to being a straight line it is, right? And seeing what's happening, if it's going to be negative or positive, all right? All right, so there we did part A. We made the scatter plot. It says find the correlation coefficient in the equation line of best fit. draw the line of best fit on your scatter plot, okay? So we're supposed to put that in. But we have to find that correlation coefficient. So Brett and Connor, you guys need to do this first before it'll do the correlation coefficient for you, all right? All right, so you guys need to follow along with me. You ready? Hit second 0. Hit this button under math, the inverse button, where it gets to the D's, and then go down until we see diagnostics on, right? Once you get to diagnostics on, hit enter twice. So it says done, okay? That way your R value will show up. The correlation coefficient is an R value, all right, when we do this. Okay, so now, everybody follow along with me now. How do I get that correlation coefficient and that equation of the line? What do I hit now? What's the buttons? Anybody gonna help me? Alec?
Isn't it zoom the 9?
Well, zoom 9 will get me back to the...
Oh, are you trying to get like the actual numbers?
Yeah, I want to get that equation, yeah.
Oh, you click stat.
Right, stat.
Go over to calc.
Over to calc, right arrow.
And then click 4.
Number 4, good, thank you. All right, then hit enter. And there's the information for your equation of the line and your R value. Okay, negative 0.86 is our correlation coefficient. So it's a pretty strong negative correlation. Anything in the 0.8s, 0.9s, up to -1 or +1 are strong correlations. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this down here, and we'll go like this. Move it down a little bit so you guys can see that. All right, so for part B, we can write y equals, and we're going to put in this a value, negative 1.679. We were saying we were going to go to thousandths. X, that's our slope. And then our y-intercept B is 148, and it's positive, so we'll put plus 148.883. Just trying to be pretty accurate, so that's why we're going to thousandths. Okay? Our R value, you can round to hundredths, negative 0.86. Okay? So we found the correlation coefficient R, our calculator did that, and we found the equation of the line of best fit, okay? So to draw that in on your calculator, so you can see where that goes, go back to your calculator, hit your y equals button, and type that equation you just put. So negative 1.679 x, it's right there next to alpha, plus 148, not 45, but 148.883. Hit enter, and then when you hit graph, it'll draw it in there for you. So that's where the line of best fit would go. So there's the two screens you really need to answer your question for B. All right, you need your linear regression screen, and you need your line of best fit going through your scatter plot screen. Okay, now on the paper, Mrs. Snapples put that together for us she shows a way where you can just take this information and substitute it in. I usually don't do that. I usually just write it out and then I hit my y equals and just do it. But if you want to follow what it says on those papers I gave you to put that in, the regression equation, you can, but you don't have to. All right, so then it says predict the heating bill for a month in which the average temperature is 40. Okay, so again, that's X is our average temperature, right? Y was the bill, all right? So if you go in your calculator, hit second trace, which is our calculate menu, we're looking for a value for X, right? So if we hit enter, we can put that 40 in for X and then hit enter. So it looks like it's going to be $81.72. If you don't do that, you could just plug it in here, the 40, and just put that in your calculator. Okay, if you don't want to go to this screen like I did. Okay, sometimes you try to do this screen and put the 40 in. Okay, and it'll give you an error message because your graph doesn't have that value in it. 40 is not showing up on your x-axis. So then you got to change your window and do a bunch of stuff. Okay, if that happens to you, just don't worry about changing the window and stuff. Just substitute it into the one you wrote down and just do it like this. So we got 81.72. Let's see what happens if I just, and if you ever want to get out of a screen, you hit second mode, quit. It says quit above that. Sometimes you have to hit clear and it'll clear it out for you. All right, so if clear doesn't work, hit second mode where it says quit above the mode, and you can do that. So if I go negative 1.679, then times 40 plus the 148.883, we're going to be really close to that $81.72. Yeah, had the same thing. Okay, so sometimes you're going to get an error message because if you try to go to second trace, enter, and you put that 40 in, and it wasn't in that window of your picture. Okay, so let's see what my window is. Okay, my X max is 50. So if I put 55 in for X, okay, watch what happens. Second calc value, I'll put 55 in there. All right, it'll give me an error message. Okay, because the window it's showing is a maximum of 50 on the X right now. Now, if we change the window, we can do it. To change your window, hit window. Let's hit quit first. Hit window, and then you can change how big you want that to look and your scale and all that, but you don't really have to do that. All right, there's a lot of stuff we can do here that we don't get into. All right, questions about the calculator and that problem? Okay. You'll probably have one problem on your quiz or test coming up next week that you'll have to do this. Okay. But practice and doing it takes some time. All right. Connor and Brett, did that help going over through that? Not at all, huh? No. We'll just have to practice some more. All right. So going over the homework. Okay. Let's see if a lot of you just had equations of lines, which is what you were looking for. But some of you were supposed to do a little more. We did numbers 16, 17, and 18, right?
21.
And 21. 16, the equation was y equals 0.215x plus 0.37. Okay, that's what you should have gotten. Then you're supposed to answer, estimate the number of active users in 2022. It said in 2009, there were about 0.36 billion active users on the site. Okay, an increase by about 0.215 billion every year. And then it was 3.165 billion active users by 2022. Okay, so you had to put in the number of years after 2009 for 2022, which would have been what, 13 years you would have put in for X? 17, they gave you a scatter plot and you were supposed to find the equation of the line of best fit. So you plot those points, put them in a little table and put them in L1 and L2. Okay, so Serenity, you did that, right? You put all the points, right? And then you found the equation, right? So you just look at the points in the graph and then put them in your calculator and let the calculator find the equation. So for 17, it was y equals 0.42x plus 1.44, and your R value was 0.61. So that was a weak positive correlation. For 18, you put those points in, and you get 0.61x plus 0.10, and your R value is 0.95, which is a strong positive correlation. And then 21, you were supposed to jump to, and it says the table shows the numbers of tickets sold for a concert when different prices are charged. Write an equation of line of fit for the data. And again, you could have used your calculator for that, or you could have just taken two of those points and done it by hand like you guys did the night before. And, depending on what you used, you might have a little bit different answer, but the book's answer was y equals negative 6.2x plus 549. And it said, does it seem reasonable to use your model to predict the number of tickets sold if the ticket price was $85? And I would say no, because your ticket prices were only from $17 to $26. So $85 wouldn't be a good number to put in from the information you were given. Okay? Any of those that you'd like me to go over step by step? We're okay? So, just need to practice using our calculator a little bit. All right. Well, we're going to use our calculator more today to solve a system of equations. All right? So, in Algebra 1, you guys solved a system of equations with two variables and two equations. Well, today it's got three variables with three equations. You guys use substitution or elimination, or you graph the two lines to see where they met. Okay? Well, we could do this by hand, but again, we have this graphing calculator. We might as well use it. It'll do the work for us. Okay? So what we're going to do is solve this type of a system using our calculator. All right? So have your calculator ready again. Okay. So here's an example of a system of three linear equations in three variables. It says a solution of such a system is an ordered triple. So you're used to ordered pairs. This is an ordered triple. It has an x, y, and a z value. says the graph of a linear equation in 3 variables is a plane in 3-dimensional space. The graphs of these such equations that form a system are 3 planes whose intersection determines the number of solutions of the system. So it gives you it gives you pictures of what could happen. All right. This picture shows these 3 planes intersecting at a single point. And that's basically what we're going to do, is find those types. Okay, but sometimes they intersect like this. There's an infinite number of solutions because it's that line. So these 3 planes intersected in a point. These 3 planes intersected in a line. It's like a book there. All right. Sometimes there's no solution where all 3 of them don't intersect in a certain space. All right. And that could happen as well, just like any system. Sometimes there's one solution. Sometimes there's an infinite number of solutions. Sometimes there's no solution. Okay. So that's just giving you a visual, a little bit of geometry stuff from last year. Look at it. All right. But the ones we're going to do, we're going to be able to find a solution. The calculator is going to do it for us. Okay. So here's our first example. All right. And the way we're going to do this is use what we call matrices. Okay. So you can put matrices in your calculator. So what we're going to do is make 2 matrices. We're going to make an A matrix, and it's going to have a dimensions of 3 rows by 3 columns. We're going to have to give it dimensions. Okay? And then we're going to have a B matrix that's going to have a 3 rows, 1 column. Okay? Now, before you do this, you have to have everything lined up. You got to have X, Y, Z in each equation equal to some constant. So make sure all your X's are first, all your Y's are second, all your Z's, which normally it is, but just make sure. Okay? And then we're just going to use the coefficients. Those are the numbers in front of the variables to make our matrices. Okay? So my A matrix for this problem, and usually you draw matrices like that. So here's my A1. This is going to be my B1. We just use these numbers. We're going to use 1, -2, and 1. 3, 2, -1. And -1, 2, 4. Just don't worry about the variables. Just make sure everything's lined up first. But that's going to be our A matrix. Okay? Our B matrix is going to be the other numbers on the other side of the equation. The 11, 7, or -11. Don't forget the signs. 7 and -9. Okay? So we're going to have to put those things in our calculator. And then to solve this, okay, you're going to have to put in your calculator A inverse B. We're solving this matrix equation. We want to move everything over there to the other side. We do the inverse operation, right? What you do to one side, you do the other, correct? So that's why I have to do that inverse button. So this is what's going to show up on your calculator, and then you're going to get a matrix for an answer, and this number will be your X value, the number here will be your Y value, and the number here will be your Z value. So the top number is your X answer, the middle number's your Y answer, and the bottom number will be your Z answer. Okay? So that's where we're headed. We just have to put all that in the calculator. Okay? That's the steps we're going to have to do. Now I just have to show you how to do that. Okay? Any problems with where I got the numbers? All right, it's just, don't worry about putting variables in. Just doing the numbers. Okay? So, I go to my calculator. All right, you can see them all. All right, if you look at the button under math, that's called the inverse button. If you look above that in blue, it says matrix. You guys see that? Okay. So we're going to hit second and this inverse button. We're going to get this screen, our matrix screen. Okay? Any problems getting there? So go ahead and get there. Follow along. All right. We're editing a matrix. So I always hit the left arrow key, and that'll highlight edit. Okay? And I'm going to hit enter, and that'll put me in the A matrix, because that's number one, is the A matrix. What are the dimensions going to be? What did we say?
3 by 3.
3 by 3. So we're going to hit 3, enter, 3, enter. And it'll give me 9 spots to put those numbers. Okay? And then we're going to put these numbers in, and it goes across the row as you put the numbers in. So put 1, enter, and it'll move you over. And then -2, enter, and 1, enter. Okay? And then it'll put you on the next row. And then just keep doing it. 3, enter, 2, enter, -1, enter. Make sure your signs are still there. Negatives down here at the bottom. -1, enter, 2, enter, 4, enter. Okay, any issues there? If you don't put the numbers in correctly into the matrix, it won't give you the right answer, will it? Okay? Questions so far? All right, hit second mode. Get out of there. For some reason, we got to jump out and jump back in. I don't know why, but that's just how it works. Jump back in, second inverse for matrix. Now, go down 1 to B, because that's going to be our other one. Go over to edit. Oh, I got to go edit first. I'm sorry. Edit first and then down to B. All right, then hit enter. And we said what are the dimensions of the B? 3 by 1. So 3, enter, 1, enter. And you'll get those 3 and put those numbers in. -11, 7, -9. Oops, did that wrong. Okay, any problems with that? All right, jump out of there again, second mode. All right. Now, when we jump back in, it highlights A, and all you have to do is hit enter. Okay, now we're at this point. To get this symbol to come up, just hit the inverse button symbol. Don't hit second, just hit the button. Now to get B to come up, go back into matrix, second inverse. Hit 2 for B, or go down 1 with your arrow key. Doesn't matter, hit the number 2 or go down 1. Now just hit enter, and that gives us the answer to that problem. Oh, mine is wrong. You got the right one. I hit inverse twice. See that? I made a mistake. So I'm going to go back. Second, matrix A, inverse, second, matrix B, enter. There we go. That better? You guys got -1, 3, 4? Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, so that's our solution to that system. That means if I put -1 in for all the x's, and, oops, I'll just put it right here. If I put -1 in for all the x's, 3 in for all the y's, and -4 in for all the z's, it'll work in all 3 equations. We just solved the system. Okay? So what you're going to do then is for each problem, you're just going to go back in to edit and just go over top of those numbers, right? And then A inverse B, and I'll give you the answer. Calculator does all the work. You just got to put it in. Okay? So it's really an easy assignment. It's just practicing putting it in your calculator. Connor.
You just get the numbers from the three little equations up there.
From the three equations, yeah. Like if I go to this one, my numbers will be 4, 2, 3, 2, negative 3, 5, 6, negative 1, 4. Now, what if one of the letters wasn't there? What number do I put in that spot? What do you think, Berkeley?
0.
Yeah, put a 0. If a variable's not there, just put 0 in that spot. Okay? If not, something's not showing up. Okay? So that's basically it today. It's just doing that, practicing that. I've only got like 3 problems for you to do. 2, 4, and 6. Okay? We'll practice some more tomorrow. If you had trouble with last night's assignment, go over and try to do it again. Just one problem. Practicing using your calculator. Okay? Any questions? Okay, once we get better at our calculator, things will go a little faster for us. Thanks for your attention. Good job.